My thumb hovered over my phone screen. Another Saturday night, another round of Tinder roulette. Was I really doing this? Desperation is a funny thing. Swipe left, then BAM! His eyes were what got me, laughing, mischievous, with a glint that screamed adventure. Max, the app said, intriguing. A message popped up. You seem like trouble. He was right. I was about to swipe right on a complete stranger. We messaged non-stop. He was witty, charming, and had the most adorable collection of cat memes I'd ever seen. We talked about everything and nothing, our conversations flowing as easily as champagne. We shared embarrassing childhood stories, confessed our love for bad reality TV, and debated the merits of pineapple on pizza. He's wrong, by the way. There was an undeniable spark. After a week of virtual banter, we decided to meet. First date jitters, present and accounted for. He suggested a quirky little coffee shop known for its eccentric latte art. I arrived early, a bundle of nerves disguised as a cool, calm, and collected woman. Then I saw him. Tall, dark, and even more handsome in person. Suddenly, pineapple on pizza didn't seem like such a deal-breaker. Our first date was everything I had hoped for and more. We laughed until our sides ached, swapped terrible jokes, and found ourselves finishing each other's sentences. He even drew me a cat in my latte foam. It was the perfect blend of awkward and amazing. As the date drew to a close, I felt a pang of disappointment. I didn't want it to end. And then, it got interesting. So, Max began, a mischievous twinkle in his eye. My best friend's getting married tomorrow. It's going to be a complete madhouse, but I have a +1. Interested in crashing a wedding with me? A wedding? With a guy I'd met once? It sounded crazy, impulsive, and utterly irresistible. My sensible side screamed, "Don't do it!" But my adventurous side, the one Max had awakened, whispered, "Why not?" The next day, I found myself standing in front of the mirror trying on dress after dress. What does one wear to a wedding they're crashing with a virtual stranger? I finally settled on a simple yet elegant navy blue dress. It was classy, but not too over the top. Taking a deep breath, I told myself it was just one night. What could possibly go wrong? A lot, my inner voice shrieked, but I chose to ignore it. The wedding venue was breathtaking. Nestled amidst rolling hills, it was a charming vineyard bathed in the golden glow of the setting sun. Fairy lights twinkled in the trees, casting a magical spell over the entire place. As we walked hand in hand toward the ceremony, I couldn't help but feel like I'd stepped into a fairy tale. Except in this fairy tale, I was woefully underdressed. Guests, dripping in diamonds and designer gowns, swirled around us. Everywhere I looked, there were women who could have stepped off the pages of a glossy magazine. My simple blue dress suddenly felt like a fashion faux pas of epic proportions. Max, sensing my unease, gave my hand a reassuring squeeze. "Relax," he whispered. "You look beautiful." His words, coupled with his warm smile, were enough to calm my nerves. The ceremony was beautiful, filled with heartfelt vows and the occasional sniffle from the guests, but it was the reception that was truly unforgettable. The entire vineyard transformed into a wonderland of celebration. There was a live band, a dance floor that sparkled under the stars, and enough food to feed a small army. I had never seen anything like it. "Your friend sure knows how to throw a party," I remarked to Max, my eyes wide with wonder. He chuckled. "Just wait, it gets crazier." Section 4. Mistaken Identity and Mayhem. As the night wore on, the music got louder, the drinks flowed freely, and the dance floor became a sea of swirling bodies. Max and I were swept into the heart of the revelry, laughing and twirling the night away. It was during one such dance, as we were caught in a particularly energetic rendition of the Macarena, that a woman with a name tag that read "Bride's Mom" grabbed my arm. "Oh my God, you made it," she exclaimed, her eyes welling up. "Daniel always said you'd come back into her life." "Daniel? Who was Daniel?" Before I could ask, she'd whisked me away to a table full of women who looked at me with a mixture of amusement and expectation. "He's even more handsome than you described," one woman whispered, nudging me playfully. It dawned on me then. They thought I was someone else. Someone named Daniel? The night descended into a hilarious chaos of mistaken identity. I was bombarded with questions about my life in Paris, my successful art career, and my pet poodle, Pierre. With each passing moment, the charade became more and more outrageous. Max, witnessing the entire spectacle, was in stitches. He even joined in, fabricating stories about our shared childhood and my penchant for rescuing stray kittens. Section 5. Dancing with Destiny. As the night wore on, I found myself enjoying the charade. There was a strange freedom in pretending to be someone else, even if that someone was a figment of a bride's mother's imagination. Throughout the night I danced with the wedding party, toasted the happy couple, and even fielded questions about when Daniel and I were going to make things official. All the while Max remained by my side, his presence a comforting anchor in the sea of absurdity. Later, as the night wound down and the party began to thin out, I found myself alone with Max, gazing at the twinkling lights of the vineyard. "So," he said, his voice a low rumble that sent shivers down my spine. "Daniel, huh?" I burst into laughter, the events of the night catching up with me. "I can't believe I pulled that off," I said, shaking my head in disbelief. He took a step closer, our bodies nearly touching. "You were amazing," he whispered, his eyes searching mine. "And you dance a mean Macarena." The air crackled with unspoken tension. I had never felt so seen, so understood by someone I'd just met. The wedding, the mistaken identity, the sheer absurdity of it all faded away, and all that remained was the two of us standing under a canopy of stars, and in that moment, I knew. This wasn't just a Tinder date, this was something more. Section 6, A Night to Remember. As the night drew to a close, I found myself saying goodbye to Max, a bittersweet ache in my heart. I had never felt so connected to someone so quickly, and the thought of not seeing him again filled me with a sense of longing. "So," I began, fumbling for words, "this was interesting." He chuckled, his eyes twinkling. "Interesting is an understatement," he agreed. "But I wouldn't have had it any other way." He leaned in then, his lips brushing against my ear as he whispered, "I'm not Daniel, but I'd love to take you on a real date. No weddings, no mistaken identities, just you and me." My heart soared. "I'd like that," I breathed, my voice barely a whisper. As I watched him walk away, a slow smile spread across my face. It was just one night, one crazy, unexpected night, but it had changed everything. I had a feeling this Tinder adventure was far from over.